Welcome back, YouTubers. We're out in the garage and we're going to do a little work here. As you know, we've moved some of the stuff into the 95 Astro van, the little Honda Trail 90, and some bicycles and such. And I'm going to move things a little bit forward so I can get my Beetle parked in there. I'm going to narfle this Garfont I've been meaning to for a long time, and that's that workbench back there. The workbench back there is great. But I can't reach the shelves above it because it's 4 feet away. So if I make the workbench 2 feet, cut it down, I'll be able to access those shelves much more readily, clean them off and put stuff up there that needs to go up there, give me a lot more room. It's about 110 degrees outside, and the humidity is about Mach 5. I've opened the door and put some fans on to kind of air condition the shop a tad, and there you go. And for those out in California, I'm sorry that you're having to go through, can't work on your vehicle anymore in your own garage, but I blame it squarely on the citizens of California and not the government. Because they enacted this law on you and you did nothing. That's why they could do it, is because you do nothing. Things like that happen and you do nothing, they'll walk all over you. Okay, well, that's enough of that. Let's get busy on this, okay? All right. Here's the problem what I'm having. Is this to that. That's the problem. So if I make this bench half, yes, of course, you know, half the space will be the bench, right? I understand, but I can make use of my shelves, and I can store everything I have, sort out everything, throw out the stuff I don't need, of course, while I'm doing it. Move this forward, sandblasting cabinet forward, and the drill press over there. I'll have enough space for the Volkswagen and a much nicer space to work. A bomb went off. Ah! Now that might still look like a mess, but it's an organized mess. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my sandblaster in there this way and give me a little bit more room. But I did cut my workbench by 2 feet. Now, look what I can do. Oh, look, I can get to my shelves. Oh, anyways, isn't that nice? Oh, look at that. There's a bucket of nuts. That's so nice. Don't think this is crazy, because man, when you're working in a little garage like this, space is at a premium, and so you got to do everything you can do to be able to make this work. Now, I think what I'm going to need to do, if I turn that sideways, I'm going to have a little bit more room. Enough where once I put bumpers on this thing, it'll clear finally. But lots of room, a lot more room. Threw away a lot of stuff, got a lot of stuff out of there. I could probably get rid of that other pump cart as well. Probably put it in the back. And once I get rid of the snowmobile up north, which is going to be the December surprise for my brother when I come up there and give that to him. It's like here, run it into the lake or something. Okay, I just don't want it, and that'll free up some more room in the back. Anyways, I regress. Here you go. I don't regress, I digress. So that's something better to look at. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, let's start working on this. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can put on this. I'm still missing the fenders, but we can do a little electrical work on it, I guess. So Dalton doesn't have the fenders train. Dalton doesn't have the fenders finished yet. There was some, the other guy who was buffing them cut through my paint, so they need to be repainted in spots. He's going to spot them for me and fix them, and he told me to do it for no charge. Just give me your paint. That's great. How about that? It's good to have friends like that. In the meantime, we turned that sideways. I don't think that's going to be enough yet, and so I think I'm going to put that in the back garage once I get the snowmobile out of there. It's too much crap, and so we should have enough room once we get bumpers on this. I don't even have bumpers yet, so once we get bumpers on this, we should have enough room. So in order to park this in here, should be fine. I'm going to make a little 1x1 piece with cardboard on it, so it can slide in here, and I can slide it out, and move the car out, kind of like a garage in a little garage, sort of like that. So if something gets up against it, it won't damage it. But there you go. So cleaning up, much better. The fluorescent lights took a dive. So I went to a flea market and I found this little piece that come off the bottom of a fan. So I took the guts all out of it and just used the lights. There you go. Nice. I can put 4 more 60-watt bulbs in that. If I could get one more just in the corner there, probably take down that light. One more like that, I think we'd probably have enough light in here. So, okay, there's where I'm at. Let me finish cleaning, and we'll start working on this a little bit. Little booger there. Let me work that out of there and put it back in. Oh, I got those. Put my washer squirter on there too. There's the nuts that came off of here. There's 2 little warpy washers. I'm going to spray a little... Whoa! Come out fast, didn't it? A little grease on that, so it slides into those better. And I'm guessing that there's going to be a washer on the bottom. There's also going to be a washer on the top. So I better look for those washers also after I get that in there. That just pushes up through those holes. So let's get that in there. Okay, I made a little mistake. For some reason I was thinking that this is where the wiper goes, but it's not. It's where the light switch goes. The wiper goes in the other hole. And we don't have enough room on this ground wire for me to pull. And this wire, well, I don't know if it's a ground or not, but it's coming from this switch right here through there, and I believe it's brown, so I believe it to be a ground. So I did a little number with some heat shrink on it, and I built myself a little jumper, and instead of hooging this up anymore, I'm just going to jump this, and we'll put this up there. You want to make sure that your wires are away from the mechanism of the wiper, and of course our battery is disconnected. There's a wrench that works for this, but if you hold this still and you get it tight and you get the switch in there sideways, you can hold the switch and turn the whole switch. You can hold this little nut and you can turn the whole switch and it will tighten it up. Let's put this in here. Before we put this in here though, I'm going to put some hose on it to attach, so I'm not up underneath the dash looking to get hose for my washer. Sorry about the background noise, but it's just very hot in here. I took, before I put the hose on there, I took the washer squirter back out again, and I put the hose on it. It's what Wolfsburg gave me. It's not the right hose though. but it's what Wolfsburg gave me. So, you know, beggars and choosers. I heated it up a little bit with a lighter, just on the end. Put a little saliva on the end of that. It pushed on, and I used a spot tie to hold it on. Originally, it had a little collar that was probably heat shrunk on, something like that. So this is the feed line going out. Okay, so it's not the pressure side, but I'm praying and hoping that the spot tie deal will work on the pressure side as well. So incidentally, have a funny story about that, and I'll enlighten you in a little bit. Well, that'll just have to be like that. Don't think this matters because it's just a switch. Push it in one way or out the other, it doesn't matter. What does matter though is this is going to be our pressure side. That means there's going to be constant pressure to it all the time. And I think in order to not receive a Count Olaf surprise, I am going to put a bigger spot tie on that one because it's on pressure all the time. This one, of course, is going up to the top there, so I don't think it's going to matter because it's just a liquid switch. You know, it doesn't matter which way it goes. Probably does in Volkswagen's book, but not in mine. I did have to take this wire off, put it back on where it came off. So let's put this one on, and we'll put it out there, and then we'll put our switch up here, and we will see if our wipers work and if our liquid works. Okay, this is an original 67 bottle. Probably fits a 66, 65 back kind of thing like that. I think same with these. These parts are haveable. You can get them. Haveable. They're pricey though. So original parts are pricey. We have to put a valve stem in that, and then let's put that water bottle on there. Put a little water. Let's fill it all the way up to the top. Yeah, that's a good idea. No, just a little bit, and we'll put our wiper on there. We'll see if our wipers work. And we'll see if our squirters work without leaking too much. Okay, here's the story. So, brother Brian is disappointed in my electric pump for my washers on my 70. So I think he sends me some parts. I don't remember. I think a washer solvent bottle. I think a washer bottle. I didn't have one. And so I hook it all up, and I put it on my, you know, it's the one that goes on the spare tire. And and as soon as I hook it to the spare tire, I hear this psss, and I go inside, and there's a stream of water. The center is popped out of that, and there's a stream of water hitting my back glass. And of course, I filled the bottle right to the top. So, you know, a whole liter went in the car. Funny story, huh? I didn't think it was so funny at the time, but yeah, there you go. Oh, in this switch, best I could do, folks, 66. So, you know, here's the original one. It's been gnawed on by some rats, and Abner sold the insert out of it. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Maybe sometime down the line I can find one of these 67 only. You know, do I want to give, what are they going to want for that whole switch? I think I'll probably just live with that, because the switch in this for 67, $200, probably something like that. Okay, I aired it up with Frank compressor. Incidentally, Frank compressor is a pretty good compressor. It's a Frankenstein, but it really puts out the air. It's pretty good. So we aired it up, and the fluid went up the lines, and I don't see anything dripping yet. I've got 25-ish pounds in there, something like that. Not a lot. Let's push the button and see what happens. Now don't stand in front of your little squirters or you'll get a Count Olaf surprise. Let's get back a little bit. Hey, there you go. Whoop, whoop. Well, that works. Okay, very good. I'll leave that on there and see if it doesn't pop, but it should be okay. Okay, I've put my wiper on just for demonstration. Unlike European cars, the wipers are over here. The wiper is over here, and then, yeah. So, or Japanese cars. Let's connect our battery up, and just for demonstration purposes. Yeah, great. Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta turn the key on. Yeah, let's try that. There you go. And because we cleaned our wiper motor up and re-greased it, we have fast and we have faster. So your choice, you can have slow and slower, or you can have fast and faster if you clean the old tar out of there and replace some grease. Okay, good. You know, I hate working backwards, but we're probably going to be working backwards because in order to get this vent in, and I don't have it, I ought to order it, these switches are probably going to have to come out, if not the wiper assembly itself. These are just wonderful little pieces here. They have little set screws. The quality of this is just phenomenal. The original Volkswagen quality is just phenomenal. It's just wonderful. I'm going to take that off, and don't set them backwards, because you set them backwards, this part will come on your paint and tear things up. Remember, they set like this, and they're not like Japanese cars that, yeah, okay. All right, next, if this is not going to be in our way, I might break the speedometer next. Okay, before I put the speedometer in, I'm going to put these pieces in. Remember, we painted these back in 1785, and I painted the grill white. And also, I took one of my, I had a folder, a binder, and it had some vinyl on it. And so I cut out a couple of pieces of vinyl to act as a wind block. A wind block? Yeah. Well, you know, I remember way back I had a Beetle that wasn't, the integrity of the trunk seal wasn't very good, and wind would come through it. So I did that to both of these to help stop that a little bit, in the event that my seal is the same, but I'm hoping that I can make that work better. But don't know, so you know, don't know. We're going to do it with a little vinyl behind it. Okay, let's get these in there. After you've put this through, you can just grab a hold of this with a pair of pliers, give it a little pull, and just give it a little twist. Doesn't need to be a lot. No urethane need to be applied. That's funny. I thought it was anyways. This one's kind of down there. And this one is... Oops. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can get a hold of that. There you go. Put our chrome ring in. If you notice, your chrome ring has a little tab, and that goes direct to the bottom, and then the aspect of it is correct if you put that at the bottom. The fat part is at the top, and the thin part is at the bottom. Okay, I found these in the Abner pile. There are only 2 of each, So they look pretty nice for screws for the speedometer. So I think that's what I'm going to use. They are the correct size. They are not 6x1. I believe they're 5x7.5. I am going to put a small drizzle of oil on each and run them in and out of the holes and until they run in and out real easy. And that way I know when I'm bottoming my speedometer out, because you don't want to reef down on these. Says Brother Brian, it will break the lens. Indeed, they were not the bolts, the screws to put that in, so I'm trying to be ever so careful. Don't know if that's about right. I'm not cranking down on those. I have a feeling if I did, probably snap the lens. Okay, we're squared up. That's not too bad. And as a bonus, while looking for the screws, I found this little jewel, and that goes right here. Will it stop? Will it not? You told me once, but I forgot. There it is. How nice. That's just nice. Okay, so we're coming right along. I think I have a plug for that. Probably, I think next I'm going to fashion a glove box. Probably. Gonna have to get some metal for that. I'm sure I'm going to a body shop. I'll probably get a hood or something. Whack me off a big piece of metal. Make myself a nice little steel glove box. Probably so. Abner had sold all chrome to this, so I'm going to have to get a chrome kit. What is this for? Oh, that's for our flasher, I believe. Or maybe this is. Nah, this, I don't know. I don't know. I have to look things over to see. I think maybe this is an ignition switch, but it's got a locking ignition switch, so yeah, don't know. Okay. Alright, let's work on our glove box. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, and before I do anything more with the electrical and such, I'm at a point now, I don't have my fenders, and it's a perfect opportunity to be able to bleed my brakes. However, my master cylinder is not on. I need to do this. You know, you got to think about the most important thing a human being can do, and that's stop. So we have to think about stopping first. A couple of things on this. This is a 67. The 67 has a dual master cylinder. The single master cylinder, 66, has a 4mm pipe like this, and what they did is they just did a little dual container like this. 68 has a container on the side, and it has either 6 or 8mm, the normal size hose. Okay. However, this is a hot dog down the hallway. Okay, so it's not going to fit. All right, so we're going to have to do something about that. And I want to use my original lines. Okay, those are the original lines that come off of it, and I paid to get them, and they fit that quite nicely. I'm not going to push that on there because it'd be too hard to get off. We're going to clean these out inside, and I'm going to have to figure out something. Originally, Volkswagen had a 4mm line here, and it it was a special hose, and it went up to whatever that is, 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, whatever that is. That's 6. Or this is 6 and this is 8. Whatever. It got bigger. One end was small, one end was big. But those hoses are long gone. So we're going to have to come up with something. Yeah, we could cut these off and sweat them on there like that, and it'd probably be okay. But like a doctor, the first thing I want to do is no harm. And those are beautiful pieces, and I'm not going to do that. Now, as you can see, Wolfsburg West sent me these, and they're for the older model. So these ain't going to work. So I'm going to have to put something on here and solder it on to make it bigger or something. All right, let's think about this for a minute. Out of the John Deere pile, I found an old piece of fuel line, and she ought to work pretty good. It looks to be brass, so let's drill her out and fit her on there, and we can clean it up and sweat that on, and be about the right size. They don't need to be very big. We'll sweat those on. We've drilled that out so I have fresh material in there, and we'll clean up that copper. These are indeed steel, but it still will sweat, and so we'll sweat those on and see what we got. I've got those clamped in the vise, and soldering is about cleanliness. So take yourself some steel wool and do a little steel wool job to them, and the parts you're going to sweat. I like to say I'm sweating this and not soldering it. I like to think that soldering is something that you would do to a electrical circuit, and sweating would be something that you would do to a liquid circuit or a pipe. There's a difference between your electrical solder and your pipe solder, and one of them is electrical, is thinner, and has I think it has less of a lead content, more of a tin content. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've got that backwards. Cleanliness is important. Take yourself some steel wool. Your pipe solder also will be considerably thicker because you're going to use more product. Soldering is about heat, product, and cleanliness. And when you light that up, make sure you don't hit the air bullets that are hanging around. The cartridges will go off, so you don't want to do that. I'm going to put a little flux on this, a little rosin on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tin these up first before I go and slide my deal on there, slide my piece on there. And tinning is simply, all you're doing is you're just putting some solder around there. Don't worry about a little bit of it dripping. It ain't no big deal. Okay, clean that up. Better have a pair of pliers. That's going to be hot, Dan. Be right back. Okay. Woo. Which end do I want? I'll look in it and get the cleanest end I can find. The rosin on that. Put that right there. Oh, okay. Now, I'm going to put that on the outside too. See if I can't tin the outside of this piece of steel. Steel doesn't like it as much as it is brass. Steel does not like to be tinned for some reason. Get her to stick. Maybe a little there. Let's clean that up a little bit. Probably a bit hot. And so I turned her down just a little bit. Yeah, every time I get her too hot, it just comes off of there real quick. There you go. Get that booger off there. Fix that booger on the top. That's not perfect, but it'll probably work. Okay, I did put the original piece back on here. It's probably better than the aftermarket stuff. Also, I mixed up some JB Weld and coated that good. And you know, even if I would have used brass fittings or brass tubings, I would have still put JB Weld around it because you know, one fist of iron and the other is steel, and if the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You know, you double up on that stuff. So also, if you notice, it goes in here like this, and it just doesn't set there. There's a strap that goes around there, and Abner had sold it. So I'm going to have to source another one. Okay, we'll let that dry, and then we'll pull the gas tank out and fit our hoses on it, re-bleed our brakes. Well, for a little break in the action, I got the window sweeps, and got some vent rubbers, all the rubber pieces for the door, I got some door, I don't know what you want to call those, the gaskets. I got me a couple of cranks and springs and the proper escutcheons and clips. Ah, forgot about that. I got a radio block-off plate. I'll have to take that in the garage. That's going to have to be painted. And I got a fuel gauge. Seems I got something else. Oh. The chrome for the dash. So, got a lot of expensive parts today, which is good. So we can start working on that, and Dalton has told me that he has the fenders done, so probably he's going to bring them over tomorrow. I don't know if I'm ready for them yet or not, so I'm not going to hurry him. Yeah, okay. Let's get back to our master cylinder reservoir. Those are the original pieces, but I'll be by God where I can find out how they would go in there. So, you know, okay, I've got them, that's good. It has to do something with this master cylinder that it's not right. It did come from way cool Cowabunga dudes, so, you know, yeah. Overthinking this might be bad for your health. So I'm just going to put this tube here, and I'm going to put this tube here, and I don't know, I might put a spot tie around it. I figure that 2 connections would be better than 8, you know, if I put those pieces in there. So yeah, and kind of got them splayed to the side, sort of like this. And yeah, there you go. So there you go. Well, let's make a strap for that now. I looked all over for them, and they don't have them, you know. For the dual, the strap's not available, I guess. I don't know. Can't find one. It doesn't look that hard. It's got a little tab there, and then a screw goes in the other side. And I think we should make one, be able to make one out of that door skin. Okay, I've kind of eyeballed that a little bit. These door skins, sheet metal, are extremely sharp, so be careful. They'll cut you really fast if you're not careful. Let's go just a little farther because you never know. That's going to fit just about right. Okay, let's form this up. Yeah, let's see here. Sorry about the fan running in the background. Kind of humid. What do you think? I bet you that'll work. Let's cut a tab in it for the hole, and kind of bend that over and put a hole in it for a screw. Okay, that piece just went right through. So probably what I can do is, once I get a screw in the other side, I can just twist that and, you know, cut off the excess. Let's see here. And, put a hole right there. And just put a screw in there. Yeah, that'll probably work. We'll sand the sharpness off of it and spray a little paint on it, I guess, also. Okay, let's get that done. The screw there came from the Abner collection. It looked very Volkswagen-ish. This kind of goes kind of downwards. I didn't want to drill another hole. And same with this. And all I did is give that a twist and tap that over with a hammer right there. Tightened up my lines. There's a metal gizmo right there that originally held the lines, so yeah, I'm not going to do that because then I only have 2 connections. I've used some spot ties on those, but they're not leaking, so it's damp from me pulling the old deal off there. I'll have to dry it off and make sure it's not leaking, but I don't think she will. Well, now I can bleed my brakes. You know, it's not pretty, but it works. I've got it out of the way of the steering linkage and the steering stabilizer, and I got it spot tied down to that little bracket there, so it should work all right. It should work pretty good. It's awful difficult putting a car together without having the right parts, but sometimes that's the challenge. Well, I'm going to get this out on the net, and thank you for wrenching with me again. It is coming together, albeit slowly. So until next time, we'll see you. Thanks.